Hello YouTube. So yeah, I'm back with everything. I'm a bunch of rocks right now. There's some deer hanging out here, I guess. I did not enable autoplay, so now I'm, I guess, a different type of rock. Yeah, a small rock. It is interesting to note that this game knows very little about geology because they'll just call it big rock, small rock, as opposed to stuff like granite and barite and stuff like that. I'm not quite sure if rocks tend to go towards each other. That's maybe a slight misunderstanding of how rocks work. But yeah. Well, yeah, you could argue, by the way, that in this game they tend to go towards each other, but in reality, rocks don't really try to move towards one another. Kind of forgot how the make your own thought thing worked. But yeah, let's see what happened. I had a very fun camping trip on the island of Texel. We went fishing and we did all kinds of fun stuff. But I did get sunburned quite horribly. As in, well, yeah, it's my own fault, by the way, that I got sunburned, because I forgot to put on sunblock, so yeah. I was red as a lobster for a few days, and now my skin is starting to come off where I was sunburned the most. It was mostly on my back because my arms were already pretty tan, but yeah. Yeah, I should have remembered to put on the sunblock. By the way, now I'm some more plants. See. Okay.
Life is a pattern of immense complexity. And what you call yourself as a living organism, say, I am my whole body at the very least. Now, what is that body? That body is recognizable, and I recognize my friends when I meet them again, and you recognize me, although the last time any of you saw me, I was absolutely something entirely different from what I am now. Just as the flame of a candle is never a constant. A flame of a candle is a stream of hot gas. Only you say the flame of the candle as if it were a constant. Well, it is a recognizably constant pattern. But in exactly the same way, we are all constant patterns. And that's all we are. The only thing constant about us at all is the doing rather than the being. It's the way we behave, the way we dance. Only there's no we that dances. There's just the dancing. There is no thing that whirlpools. There is the whirlpool. And in the same way, each one of us is a very, very delightfully complex undulation of the energy of the whole universe.
That is a rather interesting way of saying it, that you are not actually a thing, but rather a action, I guess. But I don't agree with that. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I don't think that that is how... I don't think that's how it works. I don't think... I don't think humans are... yeah, I don't think humans are actually... I do want to be a different planet, because this is a rocky planet and I want to be a green planet, but I don't agree to the idea that we are not, like, in some way at least an object, you know? Because we are, we humans, but also also other types of organisms. We are an object, you know? A human is still, regardless of whether or not you like it, you are kind of an object, you know? You are a thing, you know, like you are your, well, again, you are your separate entity. Again, that concept that this game is trying to sell me, that is, like, to me the most ludicrous possible concept, which is that somehow a human or any creature really, or anyone is not aside from, of course, its own are, are not their own separate entity. I do not agree with that, to be honest. Like, I just, I can't, I guess. But let's see what he says now.
Because life is basically a game of hide and seek. Because life is pulsation. On and off. Here it is, and now it isn't. And by being this pulsation, we know it's there. Now, from those very tiny fast rhythms, which give us the impression of continuity, there are also in this universe immensely slow rhythms. And these are very difficult for us to keep track of. And they impress us and depress us as our own life and death, as our coming and going, which goes for what is to us such a slow pace that we can't possibly believe that it is really a rhythm. We think of it as our birth, as something quite unique that could never occur again, because we're so close to it, you see, and it's moving so slowly.
Well, that I would say is interesting. And in a sense, I do agree with it. Of course, not to the full 100%. But I do think it's interesting to view the things that happen. The things that happen to us humans as pulsations in a rhythm, you know? Because I kind of want to see if I can be a human. I mean, I'm in a city, so there should be humans, but that's a side thingy. But yeah, I kind of want to see if I do think it's interesting because it's also a concept in biology where you have the human well, where you have the life cycles of organisms, and yeah, within those cycles there is birth and there is death. And if you look at it from the perspective of the individual organisms, the birth and the death are quite unique. But if you look at it from the perspective of the population of, you know, of hundreds or thousands or sometimes even millions and billions of organisms, then births and deaths are kind of like this trivial thing, kind of like this kind of like this pattern that occurs over and over and over again, you know? And it depends a little on which organisms, whether or not the patterns of every organism are in sync. For example, yucca trees or bamboo, which, you know, blossom once a year and then or once in their lifetime, and then they die, and then a whole bunch of new ones sprout, and then an entire population or maybe even an entire species may be in sync. Or like with humans, where we all get our babies at different times. That's also, of course, a thing, you know. You know, we all get our babies at different times, so our patterns are not in sync. So it may not seem like a pattern, you know. Finally, a beach, one of my favorite trees. But yeah. Humans maybe you know, human populations, it may not seem like a pattern. It may seem like it happens all the time, but yeah, it's still a pattern. You know, your life is still a pattern that has happened before and it will happen again with other humans. And I know that's scary for some people to think about, because some people want to view themselves as this most unique thing in the world, but really 90% of things that happen to you are things that have happened to other humans too, you know? And that's just the way, well, any species works really. So yeah. Maybe it's the "you are not unique" thing is not a nice thing to say, but it is true, and it is what I'm gonna leave you with for this episode. So see you later.